Hi everybody, this is Kevin and welcome back to another manga review. And once again we're going to be taking a look at Fairy Tail with Volume 5 from Hiro Mashima with what has become one of my favorite series. And well, last time our heroes took on an S-Class quest, which is not allowed under the guild's rules because there's only a certain elite group of wizards who are allowed to take on the more difficult quests such as Loxus, Mystigan, and we learned Urza's actually an S-Class wizard as well. They'd mentioned she's actually the strongest female wizard in the guild, so that's pretty interesting. But this character, Loxus, has a bit of a rivalry with Natsu, and Natsu's always trying to take him on. So he sort of didn't really guilt him, but egged Natsu on to take on this S-Class quest, despite the Master's wishes. And so Natsu did, and he sent Happy up there to get the official document, and of course Lucy got roped into going with him as well. And then Gray tried to stop Natsu from getting on the boat to going to Galuna Island, but Natsu knocked him out and brought Gray along anyway. So Gray ended up going with them and eventually agreed to help them with the quest. And last volume was the start of a great backstory for Gray, and we learned about his former master and his former friend Leon, who is actually the villain of this arc, who wants to revive this demon Deliora, which is frozen in ice. And a lot of great backstory with Gray continuing in this volume. And honestly, I have to say he's probably my favorite character of the series so far. So let's just jump right into it. It actually ended on a bit of a cliffhanger with the group sort of separated. Gray had been defeated by Leon, and he was with Natsu. And Lucy was going back to the village to warn the village people that, the villains are on the way and they're going to slaughter them. And this dude is freaking nuts. So what happens is when there's a full moon, they have like these sort of demon appendages, like they have a demon arm, a demon leg, but when the full moon comes out, they turn fully into demons and they grow horns and all sorts of crazy stuff. And he thinks that they have to destroy the moon. And Lucy's saying, well, dude, they have like this ritual of the moon drip, and if we get that to stop, the villains can reverse it and turn you back to normal. And he's just screaming, I never heard anything about this. You mean you haven't destroyed the moon? And Lucy's like, oh my god, dude, are you listening? So Virgo comes out here. That's one of her celestial spirits. And her ability is she can dig holes. I mean, funny enough, right? So she digs this hole, and it's a little booby trap, so that when they open the gate, that's the only way into the village, the villains will fall down there. And all the villagers are like, oh, I really doubt anyone's going to fall for that. Me too. Begging your pardon, but me too. Princess, I must agree. Even you, Virgo? And Lucy's like, oh yeah, I'm so smart. And they hear someone coming, so they say, open the gate. And here comes Natsu, who has Leon's ice magic, which he couldn't melt off, despite being the fire wizard, and an unconscious Gray. And everyone's so shocked that Natsu, being the oblivious fool he is, he falls right for Lucy's trap. Look at Lucy starts crying. He's like, oh my god, I never thought anyone would. Oh. And Natsu's like, who's playing pranks on me? And then the ice breaks off, so that's pretty cool. So he's back to normal, and Gray's unconscious. And, just as they're getting recuperated, they see that the giant rat, Angelica, that they saw last volume, is flying. And I love how the rat's flying. It has her tail spinning around 100 miles an hour, and that's like the propeller. And they have all the villains here. I'll tell you their names. This guy is Yuka, you have Shelly, and then Toby. And they didn't reveal the names in the last volume, but they do in a few pages. So, a wily group we have here. So Natsu saves Lucy because, well, the bucket that the rat has is holding poison. So they're going to jump all this poison over the villagers and just kill them all in an instant. And you see the poison, it falls right on this tree or whatever it is, a weed, and it makes a hole. It's very deadly. So the rat's dumping all this poison here. So what the hell are they going to do? And what Natsu does is uses Happy to fly him up there. And first of all, the elder, he's just having a mental breakdown. He's at the grave of his son Bobo, and he's just weeping. And he's like, no, I won't leave my son's grave. So Natsu does the fire dragon's roar. Or I'm sorry, the fire dragon's gleaming flame. And he just destroys the poison. And you see Yuka up here is completely shocked. He blasted it apart. He must be a fire wizard. So Natsu's not playing around. So Virgo, with her digging ability, she was able to save some of the villagers, so that's nice. But the elder's son's grave, Bobo, was destroyed in that poison attack. And all the bad guys show up here. getting ready to throw down. So they send him away. They send all the villagers away. But this Shelly sends Angelica, the rat, to go after them. And Lucy grabs onto the leg for some reason. And is like, "Wah! How did I get so gung-ho and grab it? Stop it! Ah!" So she starts tickling the flying rat. And the rat's tail propeller stops spinning. And then they fall down. So that's pretty funny. And like, this guy, this Yuka wizard, he looks like pretty badass. He's just kind of standing there. Then you have this guy, Toby, who, I don't know, he's like half dog or half cat, but he's just like a weirdo. And he just stands there and he's a complete fool. But you'll see all that in a minute. So Natsu just one-shots him, gives him a punch right to the face, and knocks Toby out of the picture. And then you see Yuka here is like, oh, this guy's pretty skilled. And he does the fire dragon roar right back at Yuka, but he's able to absorb it because, he's a wizard himself. And they reveal the fact that they're former members of the guild Lamia Scale. And this guy's name is Yuka Suzuki. And then just Toby. Like I said, he's not really too intelligent. So Yuka's skill is he can use wave magic. And what that does is it essentially creates force fields and renders the other user's magic useless. He stops it in its tracks. So that's exactly what he does. No matter how many fire dragon roars Natsu does, it's not enough. In his attack here, he does Hado, and he creates like these, beams to stop Natsu's attacks. And Natsu's getting all pissed off, like, you'll be removed. So what happens is, he has like this force shield, the wave magic, but Natsu sticks his head in there so that he can breathe fire right through there. And the two of them are just completely shocked. Toby's like, what? He's putting his whole body in. That can't be right. And Yuka's just shaking in his skin. And, he's like, you can't use magic inside the Hado wave. And what Natsu does is he actually uses his fire on the outside of his arm to, like, charge up a punch. And Yuka knows what's going on. He says, you're increasing the strength of your punch by using magic as a power booster? What? Yeah! And he just punches him right in the face. So he's able to use enough power to break through his force field. So Yuka had the advantage in the fact that he could stop magical attacks, but he couldn't defend himself against physical attacks. So Natsu was able to overcome that and defeat him. That's one down. So, of course, he's already knocked this Toby down. So his ability here, Toby, is that he can increase his claws. I guess he's like Wolverine. So someone have to tell me, is he a dog or a cat? I think he's a dog, to be honest with you. But who the hell knows? So he's like, oh, I'm going up against an idiot. Don't call me an idiot. So Natsu, knowing that this guy is a complete moron, says, you got something stuck right on your head. And he scratches his forehead here. And because he has these paralyzing claws, it zaps him and he passes out. Yep, just an idiot. So Natsu's like, all right, we got to go find Lucy now. So it cuts over to Lucy with the giant rat who fell down. And Shelly over here just starts crying. You'll pay, I'll never forgive you. And now her magic is that she can create these, well, not really create animate objects, but take over these other objects. So you see she takes over this tree to have it go after Lucy. And what Lucy does is she opens the Golden Bovine Gate Taurus. That's one of her celestial spirits. And we saw him really early on in the series too. Basically, he's just a giant bull with an axe. So he comes out and just chops the tree down. She's a celestial wizard, and she can even open one of the 12 golden gates. She actually has 4 of the golden gates, if I'm not mistaken. So Taurus, his whole thing is he's like a complete pervert, too. He comes out, Lucy-san, your udders are just the best. Oh, my God. I don't force him. I get no pleasure out. Yeah, Shelly's like, oh, what, you force your spirits to say such crude things? I don't force him. He's just saying that. He's a complete perv. So as Taurus is getting ready to attack Shelly, she's actually able to control Taurus, and Taurus starts attacking Lucy right there. And this is where she reveals her magic attacks. I can control anything that isn't human, and celestial spirits are spirits, not human. And again, she's also a former Lamia Scale member. So I wonder why these people all defected their guild to help Leon. Maybe Leon's a member of Lamia Scale as well? I don't know. You would think they would, be noble wizards or whatever. So Lucy's able to use her power to force a closure normally what Shelley says is you have to have mutual agreement with the spirit and the human to close the gate. And of course, she was controlling Taurus, but Lucy has become powerful enough to close the gate on her own. So that's pretty cool. And she breaks out her whip now and starts getting to town. So then it cuts over to Leon and this other guy here, who I forget his name, Zalti is his name. And he's also working with these like occultists who are summoning Deliora by worshipping the moon drip. So Zalti's like questioning why Leon didn't kill Gray. Should have killed Gray right then and there. Do you really think you have the ability to do it? He's doubting him because, you know, they were former friends back in the day. They were both raised by Master Orr. They were both taught ice magic by her. This is like strolling of the whole crew. Even Urza in the background. So now what she does is, you know, she's running low on spirits, so she summons Plo, the little doggy. And Shelley takes over Plo, but, you know, can't really do anything, and then realizes that it's all a joke to get her distracted. And then she, in turn, summons this giant rock golem. So they're battling at the sea, and that's when Lucy figures out, oh, we're by the water, so let me summon Aquarius, who's actually her most powerful of all the spirits, and this giant mermaid lady, who actually doesn't really like Lucy too much, because Lucy's like, all right, attack her with water. And Aquarius just goes, are you still giving me an attitude? Just take her out without the complaints, okay? And you're as annoying as ever. Leave me out of this. That's why you can never get a boyfriend. So Shelley controls Aquarius anyway. But Aquarius breaks through and is like, I was going to do it anyway. Because she wanted to use enough water to mess up Lucy as well. I don't know, the two of them don't really care for each other. So either way, it kills two birds with one stone, and Shelley's taken care of, and Lucy as well. So they're both kind of dizzy, lying on the ground. But Lucy's able to overcome and saves the day. But actually, the friggin' rat Angelica comes back at and is ready for a fatal blow on Lucy. And then coming for the save is Urza. So we actually saw a little glimpse of Urza last volume where she was on this pirate ship. And she was saying that she's going to go there and punish those who disobeyed Master's rules. So Lucy's like so happy to see Urza. But look at Urza's face like, no, don't you be giving me that look. You're to be punished. And then Happy shows up. Oh, you're okay, Lucy. And then look at him. He sees Urza. Look. Check, this is so funny. Oh, Lucy, you're okay. You see the one battle, and then Happy starts sweating. Oh, I'm leaving. And then Urza grabs Happy's tail. Where's Natsu? So Lucy's pleading with Urza, basically, you know, we're trying to help this village. If we don't help them, these people are going to revive this demon Deliora. And then Urza's still like, no, you're to be punished. That doesn't go unpunished. So Gray's recovering. And then he remembers about Leon and he remembers this. So they're at this camp here, and this woman says, everyone from the village moved over here because we lost the village in an attack. And then he remembers Leon said, eliminate the village. So they made their way out, and then as he's going to meet with his friends again, he sees, look at Urza, and Lucy's all tied up. So Gray starts telling the whole story of what's going on about Leon and how they're former buddies who learned ice magic under the same master, and what's going on at the island, how they're going to revive Deliora. And that's that. Then it cuts over to Natsu again, who found this. Well, he's back here to where Deliora is actually hiding. So that's the whole thing that's going on. And Gray gives her the statement with, you know, do whatever you like, but this is the path I've chosen. I have to see it through. And this is pretty dramatic, too. So Urza actually pulls out her blade, saying that, you know, he has to be punished. But he grabs the blade, and you see he starts bleeding right there. It's something I have to do here. I intend to see it through to the end. If you want to stab me for that, then stab away. And look at Lucy's face, and then Greg just leaves. And she still has her blade out. And look at Lucy and Happy's face. But actually, Urza cuts the rope off of Lucy and Happy, and they're going to take care of the job. So Urza saw Gray's point of view and has agreed to it. And then this Toby makes his way back to Leo, and it's like, oh, those fairy tale Cretans aren't half bad. Anyway, Deliora is going to be revived shortly, and this Zalti says that, you know, by the end of the night they should be able to revive Deliora. with enough moon drip. So then the ground starts shaking, and Zalti goes outside, and he sees that they tilted the whole freaking ruin over to the side so that, the moon can't shine down directly on Deliora, and it was actually Natsu who did it. So he says, that whole building's tilted, right? Now the moonlight won't get underground to that demon of yours. So, for as dumb as Natsu is, he is able to do some smart things like this here and there, right? So now he's getting ready to battle. But what happens is it's not enough. This Zalti here is pretty powerful. And, is doing quite well against Natsu. So then it cuts back over to Gray and Urza. And again, I would see Natsu defeating Leon with ease because, fire and ice. But I guess Leon's smarter and Natsu's just a complete fool. But anyway. So then Gray reveals this right here, that Or is still alive. That was his master who he said in the last volume that, she had died fighting Deliora, saving Gray's life. And you see the shocked looks in everyone's face. Oh, you're kidding. What does that mean? Just what happened in your past? It was 10 years ago. Deliora attacked the town I was living in. It took him less than a day to destroy everything. And here's Or right here. Actually, you can see like the same hairstyle with Or and Gray, huh? That's what he took after. And you can see she actually has a young Leon with her. And sees Gray just battered and bruised. Deliora, I won't rest until Deliora pays. I will not rest. And great chapter here where Or takes Gray in. And this is actually the whole beginning to where Gray learned to do the stripping. So that's how they actually perfected the ice magic. They're here. And of course she took them in now, teaching them ice magic. And the way to do that is to go into the freezing cold and just strip down to your bare clothes and be one with the cold. Look at Gray's face too, of Or's fat ass. So Or's like, no, this is what we're going to do. And I feel no shame in doing this. You're like my children after all, because, I guess Leon's been with her for a while and Gray's like her own now. So that's pretty sweet. Then there's this nice scene of them having dinner together and, sleeping together, and Or looking on like, oh, I've become a nice mother. So then she finds her way to this market here with the two kids. And I love Leon's face too. He's so cute. Like, Or's my target. It's my dream to someday win against her. Like, oh, so sweet and innocent back then, huh? So Gray is getting really upset now because he wants to learn more powerful magic. But she's like, no, maker magic is what you make of it. It means complete freedom. You can create whatever you want. And you've seen so far, Gray's created the ice wall, ice floor, ice lance. And you've seen with Leon, he created like ice eagles and apes and all sorts of crazy stuff. So they have their own thing. Leon said last time that, he creates moving objects, whereas Gray just creates, inanimate objects. So then Gray storms off. He says, I'm going to get revenge for my father and mother. I'm going to defeat Deliora. And he leaves in the dead of night. And then he says, if I die, I'll hate you forever for not teaching me more powerful magic. And then you see Or's face. And these guys make their way to the ruins. And they see the tilted ruin. And of course, Gray, it has to be Natsu. He's smart enough to do that, huh? So then these occultist guys show up. And Urza's like, I'll handle them. You go on, face Leon. So Or shows up battling Deliora now, because obviously Gray didn't stand a chance. Look at this evil demon. And just defeating everyone. I guess Leon showed up too, and he's all battered and bruised. And Gray wakes up from being unconscious, and he sees Or, and he's like, no, why? Why'd you come? I mean, why should I be? I've got two cute little disciples, and I've watched them grow in their own noisy way, day after day. I'd call that happy. I came here to get that happiness back. Or no, your leg. And you see her leg is turned to ice. And basically she says she lost her leg in the battle of Deliora and had to use her ice make magic to be able to stand. And as Gray's crying, she says, if that monster is your darkness, it means that I have a good reason to fight it. No, don't do it, Or. It's nobody's fault. It's just one of the trials we have to go through to be happy again. And then it cuts over to Natsu and Leon battling. And back over here to Leon, and he wakes up from being unconscious, and he's like, no, I thought you were the strongest. What do you mean you can't defeat that monster? I only became your disciple because I thought you were the best. So this is where Leon reached his breaking point. You know, he wanted to become stronger. He didn't realize there was people stronger than Ora, I guess. But there's always a stronger opponent. So Ora is getting ready to perform the ice shell technique, which is what she used to seal Deliora in ice all those years ago. But to do that, she has to sacrifice her entire being to create the ice that is Deliora. And a very heartfelt moment right here. And then she says to tell Leon that she died in the battle against Deliora. Because she thinks that, you know, if Leon knows that she's the actual ice, then he'll do nothing to stop from breaking that ice and bringing her back. Don't do this anymore. If you stop, I'll do whatever you say from now on. I'm alive. I'll become ice, and I'll live eternally. Go forward into the future. Or I seal you into darkness. Really touching moment here. I can't wait to watch this in the anime. I'm sure this is going to have like sad music and all sorts of good stuff, but you know, very heartfelt moment, and I really do like Gray's character after reading this whole backstory and knowing how he is. And then Leon says it's all Gray's fault, which in a way it is. In a way it is, because Gray stormed out there, but in a way, Or should have stopped him. But then again, who was going to stop Deliora? So then Gray makes his triumphant return as Natsu was getting his ass kicked there. And Natsu's like, no, I'm fighting this guy. You fight him another time. You already lost. No, I'm going to defeat him. And then he reveals, 10 years ago, you said that it was my fault that Or died. But you put your own people in danger. You ordered the murder of the villagers. And you tried to melt the ice. I will not stand by to see it happen. Oh. You and I will receive our punishment together, Leon. And he's doing the same position, the ice shell position, which, you know, was ordered to sacrifice herself to turn her into ice shell. And he reveals that, you know, this is the last chance. If you're going to turn the people on the island back to normal, or we're going to go down together. And he's getting ready to perform it. And he's serious, man. And you look at the horror in Leon's eyes. He's like, oh, Gray won't do that. And even Gray says right there, that's why I'm ready to die right here. Are you serious? Answer me, Leon. Are you going to die with me here? Or do you still want to live? Try it. You don't have the courage to die. Holy shit, man. It's getting pretty dramatic right here. It's too bad. This is where it all ends. And then Natsu, just as getting all dramatic, Natsu has to come in and stop it. But of course, he doesn't want his friend to die. So the two of them start bickering now of who's gonna fight Leon. And then Natsu says, when does death mean finishing a final battle, huh? It's nothing more than running away. You got it? And he agrees that he should listen to Natsu and live on and fight him and defeat him properly. So then, after they defeated all these guys, cuts over to Urza and Lucy, and they look at the ruins, and it's back to normal. It's like, what the hell's going on? And then this dude, Zalti, shows up again. Excuse the interruption. I fixed the ruins. Ha-ha. So Natsu's all furious, and he's like, I'm going to kill him. Look at him chasing after him. So that leaves Natsu to take care of Zalti and Gray to take care of Leon. And Natsu says, you lost last time, and that's a disgrace. I don't mean it disgraces you, I know. It disgraces the name of Fairy Tail. So they're getting ready for a final battle here. And then Gray reveals to Leon that Or is still alive. The fact that she's the ice shell. Preserving Deliora. And then Leon's looking at him like, whew. And then, look at that. Just after he told him the truth, Leon says, I already knew that. Every pathetic fact. But that ice has long ceased to be ore. Now it's just frozen wastewater. And he stabs him right in the chest with an ice blade. Ooh, to be continued. So, goddamn, this is a great series, great volume right here, covering Gray's backstory and I really enjoyed it. I really liked the development of Urza, too, that we saw, just because she's sort of just been a menacing character, and she saw both sides of the story here and agreed to help her friends, despite, the rules of the master and everything. And a lot of good stuff. So let's see what they have with the extra here. Oh, this is like fan art that people sent in, and some questions and answers. This is about the types of magic: ability magic, holder magic. So ability magic is what Natsu and Gray have, and holder magic is like Urza, with holding weapons, re-equipping, and Lucy, how she has the spirits. And of course, Natsu and Gray could just use their abilities at will. And then Mashima in this afterward here reveals that this was a year after the first chapter release. So what chapter are we even on? I think we're like in the 30s. Yeah, we're up to chapter 40. So a year, and he's already done 40 chapters and 5 volumes. So that's pretty cool. But obviously this has been completed. So we'll see what happens next time. And then there's also this stuff here with what's going on. So they mentioned Toby's arm tattoos. Those are like Lamia scales. Guild symbol, like, Fairy Tail is the guild symbol. And just all sorts of other stuff. And also with the chapters, there was some interesting stuff. Let's see if I can show you one. Where they have like different wizards from Fairy Tail. Like here's this Redus Jonah, and he does picture magic where he can just draw himself and make other things come to life. And let's see if we can find another character. There's a few of them on here. So I thought that was cool. It was like the lesser known guild members. Here's Nab, Lacero. I don't know. So pretty cool stuff. I really enjoyed Gray's backstory, and I really do think Gray is my favorite character so far. So I hope to see what happens with that as the story unfolds. And obviously he's going to survive because he's, like one of the main 4 there. And see what happens there and see if they can stop Leon and stop Delior's revival. So thank you all for watching. Let me know your thought in the comments down below, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. I wish this would close properly, but I've held it open for too long, I guess. So have a great day, everybody. Thank you.